as corny as Kansas in August. I'm as normal as blueberry pie. No more a smart little girl with no heart. I have found me a wonderful guy.
All right, here we are with Exalted, the Congenials, Season 2, Episode 1. We're all back from the Christmas break. I am Devin, the GM, and to my internet today we have...
Gary playing Mirage.
Sam playing the Magister.
Max playing Heroism Advancing Algorithm.
And Joe is unavailable, unfortunately. He's still caught up in the post-Xmas timetables. So, gang, we're back. We're in January 2017. You want to recap last season briefly for the listeners?
The whole season?
Maybe just highlights, notes, things you remember. It's been a few weeks since we've played.
Well, we started off as a merry band of monster hunters, and we discovered the source of many of our monsters was the chosen of the Forge of Beasts, an exigent, and we rather than murdering his face off, we reached an accord where he would be doing, where he would be generating generating beasts to challenge new fledgling exalts to challenge their skills. And from there, we went on to other quests. So, want to go from here?
Let's see. We took care of the Shadowland. There's a lot of manses that we needed to take care of.
Many manses.
And we all kind of linked them up together. We did a lot of stuff for the Claw-Slot Enclave that Heroism Advancing Algorithm is the champion of.
Yeah, we met him. That was an interesting encounter when we first met you, Heroism Advancing Algorithm. We basically, after that, we laid claim to that Shadowland Manse and hooked it up so ClassLad could use it to bring in more resources that they need, and we looked to try and set up a harmonious interface between the ClassLad Enclave and their environment, because their default mode tends to be, well, it tends to look like something out of Fern Gully Nightmare, really.
Yes. I will have to say, setting up an accord did not work out well, because now there's a bunch of Fae threatening them, and they have sent...
Arad the Hunter.
Arad the Hunter, a behemoth that is known for eating the liver of the sun. Yeah.
Which is of the sun's organs apparently the tastiest.
Well, have you ever had the sun's liver?
I have not.
No.
It is packed with so many vitamins.
Mostly D.
But yes, a rollicking season. So, you guys have... About a month's gone by. The ClassLad Enclave has just been, I guess, hanging out with you guys because Heroism Advancing Algorithm has had to go in for retrofitting.
Dun, dun, dun.
Which essentially means they've shut down the VATS facility that they've erected here and have basically kept it locked up as they've been bringing in materials and parts and components and have been working on putting together HAL.
Yeah, well, let's get back to that later, but I think we should probably just do an overview of our characters and say what's been going on with them personally, like Dominion expenditures, that sort of thing.
Sure thing. Whoever wants to start first.
Gary, you're to the left.
All right, I guess I'll start then.
All right.
So should I introduce the character himself or just what he's done lately?
You know what? Sure. Do a.
So Mirage is a chosen of Journey. For those of you just joining us, he's basically sort of managed to stay out of the whole faction dispute that the Sidereals has, which mostly amounts to playing one side off against the other for his own agenda. And he's journeyed the east and the south, and he hooked up with this group because they were keeping various menaces under control, and lately he has been engaged in several projects, including becoming the chair of the convention on Autochthonian affairs, because he is the most knowledgeable one for the job, and also looking at ways to interface the new Autochthonians with creation without catastrophic results.
All right. Well, the Magister is an old man from the realm who used to be a teacher and then was dropped out of fate and suddenly things just didn't interact with him very much. So now he's a Gatimian because the spiders that are the rogue spiders like to eat up people that are outside of fate. And he went to join this group because the Mocking White Wind helped him out in the distant past, so he helped return the favor. Now he's out here and often establishing some weird temporal shenanigan space warping things for the Clawslot Enclave, and has in fact, on his trips to Chanta, managed to gather a small cult of outcasts, kind of mutants and social degenerates, people would call them, and kind of organize them together as a sort of this small network, either through scholars or warriors.
And Heroism Advancing Algorithm is an Orichalcum cast champion of Classlat. And he was sent along as the only alchemical into creation from Classlat, and to act as sort of the troubleshooter for any unforeseen problems they might have, been getting used to the weird skybox land, and they knew nothing about. But since then, his role has mostly been to build or fix things, usually with some sort of humorous quip about how to the most awful way possible to do it. And in the downtime, he's been back in Classlat at having his old human-sized body stripped down onto spare parts and being installed in a giant robot body.
We should probably talk about that last one.
Yeah, that's actually new from last season. So
Yes.
So, as alchemicals get older, each time their essence increases, they have to have their body literally rebuilt to handle the new power. Once they get past a certain threshold, small bodies can no longer contain in all the power they have, and so they need to be transferred into a essentially mecha-sized body. And not only does that allow them to handle all their new levels of power, but it also lets them install new kinds of charms. Things like heavier weapons or remote attack drones. Or in Algorithm's case, is the ability to have what's essentially a small base with staff inside him and weapons ports. The transformation to Colossus is sort of the precursor to eventually becoming a city. So a lot of the special abilities they gain are the previews of the sort of municipal structures they'll have at one point.
So about how large is Algorithm now?
There are pictures.
Oh, well. The problem is that I don't know if our listeners have the pictures. Can we post those?
We could probably find a way to get them to the listeners. But I believe at the early stages of his development, a War Strider is what? How large?
What is it, 25-ish feet?
Depends on the model.
It's big. A house size, at least.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a problem.
Will it?
Will it?
You're just going to be stomping around being like, hello, citizens.
I am the Iron Giant, made of orichalcum.
I mean, it depends on whether or not we intend for him to come into the tavern and have a drink with us once in a while. Oh wait, tea house, right? I forgot.
Yes, this is an Asian-inspired thematics.
Yes.
Get with the program.
My God.
But seriously, I'm sure they serve beer in a lot of places still.
Well, yeah, I mean, beer is universal. You can make
And
it out of
money
anything.
in a lot of, and it's money in a lot of places.
Yep.
Yes, delicious, delicious money. All right. So I imagine in character we will meet up with a now Colossus-sized Algorithm.
Oh yeah, he's coming out of the VATS facility for the first time. So, yeah.
Yeah. I can only imagine like the vat itself like has a wall that's splitting open, like a nice gateway wall.
We found the same picture. Yes, so I guess we're back in the game now. Yeah, the VATS complex itself splits open, kind of like it's a cylinder. So the two kind of shell halves of it open up away from each other and then slide back to be almost kind of like a backdrop stage. And yeah, in the fetal position, being suspended on a couple of rods and platforms is a much larger version of Heroism Advancing Algorithm. 6 meters tall.
Jeez.
And just made of orichalcum and steel and metal and the magical materials and crystal. His face doesn't make expressions anymore.
Did you warn us this was going to happen, or is this like surprise?
Surprise!
That's what I was wondering.
There's like a cracking sound and a snapping sound as the wires break off and retract back into the VATS complex, and water's gushing everywhere from the various fluids they were using to galvanize the metal. And Heroism Advancing Algorithm steps out and stretches up to his full size.
A good 6 meters tall.
Yeah. Yeah.
Greetings, comrades. The blessings of the Maker upon ye.
This is very impressive.
This
All I can
is
think
going to take a little getting used to.
I know. All I can think of is where
It
did all
is
that
a
orichalcum come
temporary-
from?
The Maker's bounty is immense. The inconvenience is temporary until such time as a human-scale drone can be fabricated.
Pardon? A drone?
Uh,
I'm not familiar with that word.
Like an insect.
Well, no, I mean in character.
Oh, that's what someone says.
Oh.
An avatar designed to facilitate interactions at mortal scales and to operate equipment and in environments unable to sustain the size and power of my colossal form.
Oh.
but I
And
think Mirage
we
will
need-
not ask anything. He will just nod very slowly.
I can only imagine that's what the Magister is doing, is just trying to take this metal man that's 6 meters tall.
Yeah.
Hint, we need shards to get the normal size body.
Yeah.
The,
It's even more jarring because it's a month ago we knew this guy and he was our size, and now what the hell?
The VATS technicians are still mopping you up and cleaning you off and shining off the VATS goo from your frame, and the one of the lead priests is all like, "Yes, champion, the Genesis project is underway. Soon we'll be able to install your avatar systems."
Excellent. And how is the transfer of my staff coming along?
We were able to open up a site-to-site rift once you came online. They've been transported directly from Klaslat without having to use the event horizon.
Excellent. Truly, Klaslat is the most favored of the octet.
Shut. Yeah, everyone starts worshipping at his feet, calling out how none shines brighter in the land of brass and shadow than Klaslat. I almost had them start ripping their hearts out, but I had to catch myself.
No.
Wrong cult.
Whoops,
Wrong call.
whoops.
They haven't earned that yet. Mechanical hearts are only for level 3 donors.
But my Phaeton levels. Those aren't Phaetons, those are cancer. You shouldn't have been working without gloves.
Dear. All right. Okay. I'm trying to.
Once they're done worshipping, the giant golden statue man kneels. His abdominal muscles split open into a door, and a guy walks out. This is Celebrant Luthran, He will be acting as my intermediary when it is not convenient for the short time necessary. He has like a whole audiovisual thing hooked up over his head. He's basically just there to be my mouthpiece.
He waves.
A pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, I bow and I say, it is good to meet you, celebrant.
I speak for the gods.
Actually, oh,
His job is literally just to be places so that the pickup can hear sound from me and to repeat what I say into his ear.
He's like those body doubles from Arrested Development.
Oh wow. Oh jeez.
It's like, turn to a mirror. You're fired. What? You can't fire me. I can't believe you do this.
Oh no. Oh dear. Is this your I assume this is well, he looks around trying not to panic people around. So I assume this is part of your plan to deal with Arid.
Yes, it is part of the champion's plan. Now that he has greater weapon systems installed, he will be able to contribute at far greater damages and ranges. Notice the shoulder turrets that have been installed. They are manned internally and triple his offensive potential. He suggests that you wave to his eyes, as the gunners can see through them for targeting data.
We'll give a friendly wave, I suppose.
Yeah, these shoulder pauldron turrets turn and, like, kind of shake at you guys. Not in a goofy way, just to show they can see you and track you.
yes, this will indeed take some getting used to, Mirage repeats his earlier statement.
Do you have the right charms equipped so you don't have to eat or sleep anymore?
Not yet. Those are all endurance.
Oh,
I haven't found that word.
Oh, no! The raw food they're gonna
so
give
much
you.
gasoline.
Don't worry, they can just like shovel trees into his mouth.
He needs food, guys. He's not a pet pony that's died. He needs food.
Well, I mean, he has the transmutation charms.
Just pineapples. Endless
Well,
amounts.
Oh, so many pineapples. Oh.
What's worse, it's going to be really disturbing to watch.
It's like a blender in the back of his throat.
He turns small lakes into vats of nutrient paste and just walks into it.
Drink of my bounty. One of the dudes is like, Lord, I found a fish head in mine. It's a sign.
It's a sign I need to recalibrate my charms.
Does ClassLight have like these RAM depots in the front with these tubes that you hook up and put into the side? Would that just like pump nutrient paste into him?
I mean, they have a hose that they'll plug into his abdomen.
Yeah, we probably should find some more shards so that we can get that.
Yeah, that has suddenly become a priority.
Yeah, suddenly become a very large priority.
Out of character. Thanks, Max.
The technicians are quickly closing up the VATS facility and resetting it for normal use.
The guy turns to the staff. Has there been any word on the new Soul Steel champion that is expected?
Oh, yes. We've heard that the it's going through the proper channels and the proper. I'm trying to think of the word I'm thinking of. They write sort of. It's another word for paperwork. You know, like a bill. How does a bill become a law?
Legislation.
Legislation. The right legislation is moving through the proper channels. We expect within a year to a year and a half.
The champion wishes to know if there is anything he can do to expedite production.
ClassLab will let you know if you are needed for this task, champion. Focus on creation.
Ouch.
Oh no, it's just like, hey, you're doing creation stuff. You're literally the only guy doing it.
I know. But just still.
Well, if we uncover any soul steel, the champion will be sure to earmark it for the production of the new champion.
Praise Hadal. Everyone says praise Hadal.
I'm concerned I might have aligned myself with an evil cult.
Did you say that out loud?
No.
What is morality? Can you taste it?
Yes, it's quite delicious, actually.
As long as it obeys the 4 virtues, we're good.
Does it have a flavor? Does sin have a flavor, really?
Despair.
It's delicious.
With a little sprink of hope.
It's a little gamey, actually.
It's very gameable.
Tastes a bit like long pork.
That's what the tribals called it. 10 years at Vietnam, and I'll never forget the taste. Alright.
Alright.
So, Heroism Advancing Algorithm is a giant made of gold, just like Homer Simpson. 18 carats. Now what, gang?
Out of character, wouldn't that make him very fragile?
I know, that was the joke.
Oh. Let's see.
Well, besides
Has there been? The champion wishes to inquire of his honorable comrade the Sidereal if there has been any news as to the whereabouts of Erad the Hunter, so that he may begin examining the location through the remote viewing apparati.
Well, GM, I had been checking in on that, and the last I remember at the end of the prior season was like, oh, he's back. That's a problem. But I don't remember anything else.
Yes, there's a Sidereal who's on the Convention of Behemoths, which basically means he pays attention to Olifam and Juggernaut, because they're the most obvious.
Right.
And yeah, Erad the Hunter's back in. He was able to... He's on the very edge of creation, stalking his way through.
He's in the Far East then.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you pinged it for us. That's nice.
That means we have time, and I've been
Oh, yeah.
trying... I have been sending a lot of... Basically, I've been preparing my little cult to try to gather materials for emergencies, basically. It's all been prep work.
Perfect.
Question. Since creation is flat, how far does that sun gift that lets you see through obstructions let you see?
Probably out to your natural vision? I'm not sure. I'd have to read it again. One moment.
Forever.
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 Forever. What gift is it?
Let me see.
Oh, everything out
Creation's
to the
first light.
horizon. Yeah, here we are. So you see everything out to the horizon.
There's no horizon.
So just straight line. You'll probably have to focus in on stuff you want to see.
I think we can...
Well, since that's installed, let's turn it on and start looking for Arad.
That will take a long time because you have, potentially speaking, of course, this entire cone of vision to filter through.
Yeah, and I think they mean metaphorically the horizon. I don't think they
Of
mean-
course.
Yeah, so it's probably like cut in... How do I draw on this map?
Probably a few miles. I mean, I want to say that way back when this was discussed, and that there's a drawing distance or something for creation.
I'd say like that would be
A
as
drawing
much.
distance. That'd be amazing.
Well, that's actually because they felt it. Several things came up. They felt the need to resolve the question, and it makes sense that the loom probably doesn't bother to resolve questions that far away.
That's
Unless it's Mount Maru, because apparently rendering Mount Maru makes everything work better.
Oh, it's just easier. I mean, it's so big.
That's why it's the only place that Creation Slaying Oblivion Kick works from.
We don't say that word.
Who taught you those words?
How do you undo things?
I have to highlight
You-
and delete it. No, the Enclave's gone. It's back.
And like that, we destroyed the Enclave.
So much for Sidereals.
Oh, whoops, I brushed
I
my
didn't
pen
do
across
it.
the wrong thing.
I didn't do
For
it.
once, it wasn't a Sidereal that did it.
And for 10 seconds, the Clawslot Enclave winked out of existence.
My god. We're using a map, listeners. We have a map up, we're just fudging with it.
Yeah.
Alright.
Alright, sorry.
So, no, it's all good. It's all fun. So, Arid the Hunter is on a destructive path towards you guys and will slowly be making his way to murder just anything and everything. There are other things you could follow up on. There was a whole thing about Rain Deathflare I had, but without Joe, we'll have to put a pin in that as it's Joe related.
Yeah.
But other than that, you could do follow-ups on that guild associate who hired the fair folk to capture you guys and sell you into slavery.
Yeah, that.
And there was also the Jadeborn, who we were going to basically turn into our best friends forever by explaining we can make new ones.
Traveling to a Jadeborn city.
And the giant into golden avatar of Autochthon can't hurt.
I mean, you do look pretty friendly. They'd want you in their suburb.
There is a problem with that, which is a matter of dimensions.
Well, let's just
Well,
go
this-
alter one.
Is he going to fit?
Well, this is the fantasy underground, so there's probably like mile-high caves where the air temperature is pleasant instead of sweltering hot.
Fantasy Underground is pretty big. Also, you have craft charms.
Also, I can break space.
Yes. You are all
So-
uniquely equipped to deal with some of the issues that would come up.
So if we need to squeeze him through a pinhole, I can do that.
Just don't get stuck like Winnie the Pooh in Rabbit's house.
Oh, that would be worse. I mean, you'd be spaghettified.
Oh no, then I just start shooting.
Shoot everything. Oh, there was a clarification on knowledge, on how the knowledge gift works, and we were actually kind of playing it like this. Knowledge falls under academic knowledge, like stuff that is loaded into and taught in the world, like
Right.
things that are in books, essentially. It's not just what a person knows; it's stuff that would be considered taught or considered something that you'd want to learn, like at a school.
Right.
So that fixes a lot of the weirder questions we had previously.
Understandable.
Okay. If I remember correctly, there were some other loose ends having to do with.
You guys are going to try and find the city of, I believe, Lutar.
Right. Before we do that, I would like to... I have done a lot for the Claw Slot Enclave.
Mm-hmm. You have.
So, Algorithm, I am bringing along some of my followers.
The champion suggests this will be perfectly acceptable, as he has prepared sufficient guest space for numerous companions. They are advised to partake of the intoxicants that he has had stocked, especially for your use.
He
You
smiles.
built a bar inside for this?
Yes, there is a bar.
He smiles because when a couple of his basically missionary type followers come in, most of them are wild mutants, and I think one of them literally has a beehive on their back.
Okay, just remember, you're going to be inside the giant metal statue when it's cringing.
Yep. Most of them are pretty ugly because they're social outcasts. No, wait, that's the other one. That's not what I meant.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
That just happened.
That's not what I meant. I meant, even in the Shanta region, there's mutants and atabeasts and stuff like that. But I imagine that a lot of the wild mutants that have particularly nasty mutations are kind of outcast by people because they look ugly. And so they're good people, they just have physical deformities from things like the wild.
Well, this isn't Harry Potter. Ugly people aren't inherently evil.
Exactly.
Although they will have to cover up with environmental suits if they're going to be leaking bees on everything.
Well, they don't leak bees.
You're leaking things that have sex with plants.
And you're bringing in plants.
What are these things they're throwing up? Is this sugar sickness syrup? What is wrong with you people?
Yeah.
This is
anyway,
a champion, not a boudoir.
Do
anyway,
that inside.
Yeah, I'll just be
Outside.
bringing about half a dozen.
Fair enough. All right, you brought people with you.
They don't seem to know who I am, but they'll listen to me.
Are you the representative for your organization?
No, I am not.
Oh, then
Because nobody can remember me.
people can remember you.
No, that I'm out of fate. You said.
People don't remember who you were before.
Sorry. The Dominion expenditures require that I.
Yeah,
do it.
people can never remember that you're in charge of things. Like, they can never remember you as the person in power. You as a individual person, like that guy. But whenever you try to influence yourself on the world just kind of lets you kind of just push through and never make an impression.
Right. So
Like
basically,
trying to pick up sand in your hand.
what happened is I went to the cult masters, and they told these people to follow me around.
Yeah. Perfect.
Even though they don't know that I'm actually kind of in charge of it.
Exactly. Yep, that's perfect. That's exactly it.
An algorithm can fashion a very official-looking "this person is in charge" badge, so they don't forget.
That will not work.
Like a little tin sheriff's star.
I was thinking of a clipboard.
Very good. All right, you guys begin the journey. At which point, the theme for Final Fantasy VI would start. You know, the intro theme.
Are we going to have like any random encounters?
No, God, no.
Well, there
Jiminy-
were random encounters, but then the gunner shot them.
I can only imagine like
There were no random encounters.
so much death.
He said there was no random encounters.
Oh yeah, and Lutar is actually really close. It's in between the Avarice River and the Yellow River.
that's not really close.
It is for us.
Okay.
It would actually be... So, how long would it take for you to get to the area approximately that you think Lutar is?
Less than one day.
Jiminy Christmas, travel charms.
Yup.
Alright, you guys head directly from the Klaslad Enclave south, past the River of Avarice, but just before the Yellow River where Great Forks is. And there is a mountain range in the east that you guys basically have to approach. It's a series of 3 lone peaks that seem to have some villages and small settlements built on the shadow of them, so it would kind of keep the heat out and give them a bit of overcast from the storms and protection from the weather in the east. There's a good deal of foliage growing on these mountains and growing through them, like a moss network, and there's like spores everywhere. These villages are fairly primitive.
Are these is the fair folk? So is there an issue with us just navigating between the villages to get to where the tunnels are to descend?
Yeah, you basically have to find the tunnels, and this is the closest you've gotten to finding out where the entrance to their domain would be. These villages apparently no.
So it's now a ask around sort of situation.
Yeah.
All right.
We can do that.
I was going to suggest we just land in the middle and start shouting.
Well, I mean,
No,
normally I would
yeah.
say not to do that, but I don't know how we're going to get a 6-meter tall, giant, gleaming golden statue of a man.
Not all of us have your presence.
Well, no, I assume they have scouts somewhere. And if we start going with, praise the great maker, Autochthon, I assume it would eventually get to the important people and they'd send someone to talk to us. And it's not like they're just going to leave the mountain unsurveilled.
It's up to you. How do you guys want to proceed?
We can't do this sneakily. It's just literally impossible.
We just flew in on a Stormwind Rider with a gigantic golden robot. Sneaky is not happening.
It's just not happening.
Let's go and have the conversation.
We'll just have to do it bombastic.
Yeah.
What's that called? Audacity and bombacity?
They call you Mr. Boombastic. Everything's fantastic.
So yes, once we land, I assume in the middle of the 3 peaks, algorithm opens with, "Hallowed is the maker. Hallowed are the people of the Maker. Om Mani Autochthon. And the ground is presumably shaking since he's trying to shout.
Yes, you are very loud. There's
Yeah.
actually, in the word of music, there's a charm for making your voice heard for miles. It looks amazing.
Oh. So in that case, the fact that we landed miles away from a mile from the local settlement probably didn't help shield them from that deafening impact, did it? Oh.
It wasn't that deafening. The scale of things is not such that you're creating, destruction waves. But they definitely noticed you.
Yeah,
You're big.
And his voice is now so deep, they probably felt it in their bones.
it's a good thing they don't have glass windows.
Oh,
'cause they
man.
would have broken.
Glass windows
Oh.
are nice things.
I know.
And the guy in charge of his voice probably turned the bass all the way up.
To 11?
The sacredest of numbers. So about an hour and a half after you land and hang out in the area, someone from one of those villages is going to come on down. He's wearing kind of shabby-looking clothes, spun from cloth sack and the remnants of kind of trader bits and ends, and has a wooden and stone-capped spear.
Is he going to ask if if you young whippersnappers would turn that down?
He looks like 30. Yeah,
Alright.
he's approaching cautiously. It's very easy to see him.
I will exit
I'll walk
algorithm to make myself available.
Pale?
Hail, good sir.
I say, greetings.
Are you gods?
Not precisely, no.
We are exalted. We are
And he turns
champions
into
of the god.
Gozer and kills you.
Statement: we are no mere gods.
Oh, goodness gracious.
We are chosen.
What are you looking for in our humble valley?
We have intel that a lost people, long forgotten before the times of the current age, reside in a place close by. We seek an audience.
Well, we live here. We've been here for longer than my father's fathers.
You've not seen anyone who walks in these places who look like men but somewhat unlike men.
There are there are legends and sightings of the underlings.
The underlings?
I say yes, them.
They are local spirits. They entreat our village sometimes on calibration. They take offerings we leave out, and they leave tools behind.
Sounds...
And I say that sounds like whom we would be searching for.
The offerings they ask are strange. Rocks cast off from the river, broken bits of avalanches, old parts of our temples that are torn down by the mountain shaking.
Yes.
Where do they have a particular place they ask you to leave these sacrifices, or is it simply within your village?
The middle peak, where my village is. It is the elder brother of the other two. There is a cave near the top of it, and we travel up there on calibration and leave our offerings that we've collected over the year.
Would you be able to show us to the mouth of this cave?
Sure.
Yeah, you will be recompensed.
Oh, okay. All right. He starts to kind of lead you up to his village, and there are people there, some with other weapons, some with actually pretty well manufactured weapons. Like very well put together swords and shields and bows. At least one person has a crossbow.
Wow, this is pretty agnostic. Not agnostic. Whatever the word is for a village of this time.
Advanced?
Yeah, it's pretty advanced.
Since I have Mark of the Maker installed and it doesn't take effort, I'm going to scan all the advanced-looking stuff.
Oh man, these guys did not build these. These were made by supernatural creatures. At least one of them is Magitech.
And as we're going by, I'm going to use the passives of Artifice to make nice things for them.
Where you're just walking by, and every time you step and your footprint leaves behind, there's like, better constructed roads.
Are you like literally walking and there's steampunk following you around?
Well, it does sort of cover the surrounding area.
You're reality marbling the place. You're like archetype Jupiter or archetype Mercury.
Hey, I'm really big, and I have Artifice that lets me create anything I could hold.
Alright, so you strengthen this village as you pass over it.
As a blessing for accepting us as allies, or not.
And to leave lots of spyware behind.
God damn it.
We were being so nice, too.
It was so congenial.
Spying is nice. We are really powerful people who are looking out for them.
Yes, Big Brother is watching.
Yeah, so eventually he'll lead you up the path they take. It's actually, you guys are getting a look at this place. The village itself is fairly new. The older foundations they've built on look like this used to be a temple of some sort. It looks shogunate. This used to be some sort of immaculate monastery. And just over the years, it's worn down so much they've kind of built a little society on it. There used to be rope bridges that tied these mountains together.
Interesting.
And they've long since withered away. The steps he brings you up were once cobbled and carved from the mountain itself and reinforced with scripture and inset with more precious and more nice stones, and those have since been either stripped up, torn out, or just smoothed over.
Ancient shogunate temple. I'm literally shaking with glee, though I don't show it. I will of course request a. We're on a
You're not
mission.
literally shaking with glee, are you?
Is he literally walking us, or are like all of you standing on my hands or something?
Oh, I think we're walking.
I'm walking. I have not. I may be used to dealing with riding animals, but I'm not used to dealing with riding atop a war strider.
And honestly, it probably eases the villagers' conscious to see actual people in front of the giant.
What is the feature you grant to the fact inside of you with that charm?
Let me look it up real quick. Lots of basically Western standard of living with lots of cheap and easy low magic.
Oh, you already provide that with the charm.
Oh,
Yeah, the charm does that
Good for
inherently.
you.
All right, yeah, he brings up to the very top of the mountain, and there's a plateau. The plateau looks like it has some sort of sparring ground or some sort of training area. There's like pillars and the remnants of a wall to keep like thrown projectiles off the mountain and whatnot. And sure enough, where a building once stood, it has collapsed inward, like the flooring and the foundation gave way, and there's a basement that leads down into the mountain itself.
Has the villager gone, or is he still here?
Oh, he's still here. He's hanging out.
I want to give. Oh, sorry.
I'm probably on the way. I asked him what his trade was and what his and what are the common crafts of his village.
Oh, we farm and take care of shepherd animals. I catch rations, and some of us spend the entire year searching for things to give for the sacrifice.
The sacrifice?
The offerings we leave at the mouth of the cave.
Ah, yes, of course.
We'll head to the valley below and brave the animals down there. There are panthers.
Tell me, if you had the choice, what would you wish out of your life?
A meat dish every day for myself and my parents and my father's and my parents' parents and my little siblings.
So, I'm going to revise his destiny. To give him, I think I can do generally good results?
Oh,
Or do
yeah.
I need to specify a specific thing? Because I want him to have prosperous catches, and for him to catch many rape missions in the next several weeks.
Perfect, yeah. And you can do that for like the next 4 weeks or whatever. Or, single fated event or indefinite condition. So, yeah, just, generally make his life less shitty.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And I'm going to give him a little bit of money because of his bravery.
He takes it gratefully.
And I assume there's nicer clothing, weapons, and basically anything else Algorithm left behind somewhere there, so that's already his gift.
You left behind stockpiles of infrastructure for these people.
Yeah. We have changed their lives for the better like nobody ever knew.
Mm-hmm.
Included are abridged copies of the Tome of the Great Maker.
Of course.
What's happening?
he does no idea that I've blessed him, but that's fine.
Yeah, the underlings, they're in the basement of the old temple. There's a tunnel in there that heads further into the mountain's heart. They're a strange lot. Hard to look at. We keep them away from the village in general. They come out at night to take the offering, and we don't usually see them, but they'll strike a cow infertile, or they'll cause the crops to wither if you see them.
Strange. We shall take it from here, I believe.
Okay. He just thanks you and just heads away.
I can only imagine him just running away in terror.
How large is the cave mouth?
Well, this is like a basement of an old building, so you could probably excavate the rest of it and, I don't know, give it proper access instead of them trying to shimmy through a falling apart temple.
Right, we're going to need to do that because of him.
Yeah. Alternatively, I could punch him out of space and then, grab a tether on him and then reappear him in a more appropriate space. If he trusts me enough.
Yeah, generally speaking, you guys can spend some time just making this a little more stable, because that's what Heroism Advancing Algorithm is going to do, and then you could actually fit down there, because they were built fairly big.
Yeah.
It'll take slightly longer than it would if I had the 10,000 tools, but I still count as 400 laborers.
Oh yeah, you could definitely make your way through.
Yeah.
It looks like this monastery was a lot larger back in the day and just shook itself apart, and you're at the basically ground level basement area. And as you head down further, it would appear that the basement didn't usually just lead straight into the mountains cave. There's actually more basement that you'd have to go through to get here. Like, this was kind of out of the way or hidden, and there was like a large circular stone seal placed on it that had just fallen out with age.
Right.
So this was like a secret compartment or a false wall.
No, they weren't trying to keep the mountain folk in or anything.
No, they just weren't obvious that it was here.
Algorithm, I will say while we're clearing this out. I have never heard much about these mountain folk, or Jadeborn as you called them. Could you enlighten me? I have not found much in my research.
Well, the giant golden robot continues to work. The mouthpiece speaker replies, "There is not a great deal in the Tome of the Great Maker. From what the champion has been able to glean, the mountain folk were a prototype for the human race, created by the Maker prior to humanity's emergence. It is specified that they were unable to properly harmonize with the essence of the Maker, and so were left behind in order to more optimally fulfill their design parameters."
They may not be happy about that.
Oh no, the tome is quite clear. They, as with all of the Maker's works, delight in him and all he does.
I say it is possible that their version of the Tome of the Great Maker may be outdated.
That is quite possible. The void is a pervasive force. And without the Maker's divine ministers to oversee their civilization, a great deal of misrepair could have occurred, leading to a degradation of their society. It will be a holy task for the champion to restore them to the full benedictions of the Maker.
So you're saying we're either going to be recepted as speakers of God, or as heretics that should be shunned.
I nod vigorously.
It is not likely that we would be heretics. Based on certain tunnel community studies, it is likely they will simply view us as agents of the Void. That is to say, they are resentful of the Maker because they do not remember that he is properly benevolent, and will believe that we are representatives of an uncaring or wicked God.
Oh, my eyebrow raises at the your description of the Great Maker as benevolent, but yes.
Oh no! If they got it wrong, then they'll think he's an uncaring machine planet that's trying to kill them with his apathy.
Yeah.
Which is what some of those degenerate tunnel folks start to think for some reason.
Literally the worst.
I don't know where they'd ever get those ideas from.
I love the undertones of hostility here.
We should probably,
directly in character.
in that case, we need to make sure that we know where we're going, so if things go south, we can go up.
If necessary, I am capable of excavating a fairly large shaft directly above us.
In a mountain, that's a little difficult. But I suppose that'll be a bridge we cross then.
Oh, Devin, that transmute gift. Do those cubes have to literally be cubes, or is it just that much area?
I'm sure they don't have to be literally cubes. That seems insane.
Oh, good. We can just do a algorithm-shaped hole.
Oh, it's a hole built specifically for you.
Oh no, are you really going to Kool-Aid Man your way through walls?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Exuberant affirmation.
Sadly, that gift is commit effort for the scene, so we're not going to abuse this privilege.
Alright. I
My
think we can
God.
start heading down.
Just do some test runs. All right, so you guys head through that kind of circular stone seal. Yeah, this was like a Shogunate era, like immaculate temple. It looks like they were isolated, looking for enlightenment, doing the whole monk thing, and just generally speaking, were keeping themselves away from the rest of creation. But from like records and scrolls that have been left behind here, like notes and diaries that are just wrapped up in leathers and various woods, you can kind of piece together that some of these people were just treating with the mountain folk. Not quite secretly, but they weren't making it obvious.
I can only imagine that the Magister, each time he finds something new, just kind of like disappears for a while as he reads, instead of like helping excavate things. And then he just keeps on shoving books into algorithm.
Put that on that flatbed scanner.
The champion wonders why these monks did not pursue enlightenment with something more useful. No, do not repeat that. This is not meant for them to hear. The champion apologizes.
Oh my god, you didn't say that out loud, did you? You idiot.
The Magister will remember that.
What is this, a Telltale game series now?
Yes.
Nicole's playing the Game of Thrones one, and literally any time that shows up, she's like, "You'll remember it? Fuck you!" And I had to kind of maybe explain to her that just because they remember it doesn't mean it's spitefully. That's just the game telling you that choice mattered.
And sometimes it doesn't. It's a secret.
Oh,
It's
none
like-
of the choices matter.
It's like,
Everyone ends up dead in the end.
Cersei
Oh,
will
yeah.
remember that. And it's like, oh yeah? Fuck. Sorry, that was too good. The Magister will remember that. God damn it. Now you gotta play those mini games. Alright, you tunnel your way through, and the plug that heads into the cave was basically expanded, and looks like it could carry maybe a few dozen people abreast. And the ceiling itself is actually rather high. And the mites, the ceiling ones, have been carved into cylinders that have pockets in them for candles and fire to be put into to light up the way. Kind of like a hollow candle with like holes put into it.
Interesting. I assume they're not lit at the moment, though.
No, those went out.
Most inefficient. Algorithm's going to replace them all with something phosphorus-based that'll just sort of glow for centuries.
You can't do that with every single one of them. Come on,
Does
algorithm.
he recognize that they were originally supposed to be light sources?
Well, I assume when he was being educated in this creation stuff by the Magister, this is a candle. It's used to make light.
You have candles in Autochthonia.
Yes, they're just made with rat fat and human hair.
Yeah. And also, these holes have like scorch marks on them, and there's ash on them. You know all about scorch marks, ash, and smokestacks.
But yes, so he's just going to like take pebbles and crush them into into glowstones or something with phosphorus that'll last a while.
One of the mutants that hangs out inside your body is like, there are types of fungus that glow in the dark.
Shut up, Debbie. We know that already.
Jesus Christ.
Are they edible?
Yes.
Drat. That means I can't just magic them up.
I mean, anything's edible if you try.
Although, I can magic up, I suppose, the luminous extracts of them.
So you guys are walking through the corridor and it's lit.
Yes.
Shut up, Debbie. We know about that. Jesus Christ.
Debbie, you think you can tell us everything about everything?
Why are you even part of this cult?
I think I may have drank that beer a little bit too fast.
You fucking mutant, you're here to make us look better.
No, these are supposed to be good people.
Shit.
The champion,
Not high school girls.
Those are some mean girls.
the champion has advised his bartender to serve brother libations in order to reduce her vocal output.
Jiminy Christmas.
Alright, I think we should probably...
Alright, let's pause. Let's pause when we get control. And we're back. So, you guys continue down the tunnels carved into the mountain, leaving behind the monastery proper. Very large caves you're in. Like, very large and, like manufacturedly carved. Like, the rock walls aren't naked and rough. They're smoothed out, and they have, like, patterns built into them. Almost like you could trace the path of the stonework along the top, bottom, and sides like a maze.
Wow. Super fascinating. I mean, the gallery, what's the word? Quarry I've been in, it was so different from this. The stones were all the walls were picked. You could see the pick marks, but this is like a worm ate through the walls.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks like... continue.
Any signs of earthquake damage?
Here and there. This place has been unkept for quite a while. It looks like small patchwork has been done to the rougher seams and splits. But it doesn't look like this place should be prone to many earthquakes or landslides, just from the way the mountains themselves have been set up. Though, you'd probably do better having an earth aspect to kind of take a look at it. They're more in tune with that sort of thing.
How do earthquakes work in creation, by the way? Gem lords, right?
Earthquakes happen. That's how. I don't know.
Sometimes Syep shrugs.
And then all the looters and leeches get off his back. Kevin fucking dropped that bomb on us. Peter gave Kevin a gift in the session the other night, and as soon as he did, Ian was like, "Oh, what'd you get us?" And Kevin, with the deadpan as Wisp, also said, "And the parasite says."
Oh no.
Whether it's desert or sequel.
Yeah. But yeah, earthquakes happen. I don't know why. Oh my god, don't ask questions. We should probably look into that in the future. So, the tunnel basically has a rather drastic shift downward and starting to spiral, as it will have to take you down deeper into the mountain proper. And eventually just has a straight drop. Like, there is a hole in the ground that is a boring tunnel almost, that has a gentle right angle to it, and then just drops. And there are those same kind of maze-like paths cut into the stone, which, from this perspective, they look kind of like handholds.
Handholds for a giant or handholds for a person?
Both. Like, they have such different patterns and shapes to them that you could probably use it as a way to climb down.
Is there illumination?
No. Unless you bring your own.
Of my many skills, climbing is not one of them, so I think I need to ride inside of Algorithm for a bit.
Yes, the Maker was just about to suggest that it might be better in the short term if both of you were to embark into his body so that he could traverse the shaft.
I consider this. Think I don't want to ride inside Algorithm because that will be strange. But I don't want to be under Algorithm as we're descending this thing. So I guess I'm going to ride inside Algorithm.
Once you bind to the word of Sky, Max, you can just drop from great heights and never take falling damage.
Already looking at it. Because once I get Sapphire wings, then I can be a giant floating battleship with infinite range guns.
You will become the
Congenial.
5.
And watch Arid try and get me then.
Gundam.
We suddenly traversed genres.
Have we? Or have we always been in the same genre?
Yeah, we just never knew it.
Alright, so you guys start to walk down the tunnel. It's a good X amount of meters, where X is a long amount. Like, it goes down for a while. You feel like you've already gone below the mountain's base. And it is
Could
getting
Algorithm
warmer.
just fashion a parachute of some sort? And jump?
I mean, not no. You could have like a sugar glider wingsuit.
I was
The shaft is that big?
Yeah. You just kind of corkscrew down.
Wait. What am I thinking? This requires a giant into... What are they called? The tunnel, the spider things used to traverse tunnels.
Legs?
No, it's called a wall crawler, or a tunnel crawler, or something like that. It's a thing they have in Autochthon where you would strap spider legs to your back, and it takes you through tunnels if you can't climb them.
Alright, so just use
called
spider legs?
Mm-hmm.
Alright,
Or
yeah.
some sort of giant elevator with gears that go into the handholds.
You descend down. Once you get below the mountain's base, this tunnel gives way to a large dome carved into the mountain. Still smooth. It looks like at the very base there is some sort of elevating device. It looks like a stone disc that's fairly thick. It's like 10 men thick, like from the top to the bottom of it, and it sits on its own kind of pedestal and has twisting gears and machinery in it that would cause it to go up and engage the threading that's in this tunnel and spin it up like a screw through a screw hole.
That would explain the handholds, the threads.
Yeah. It looks like it's been disused for a while. It's gathering dust and debris from the ceiling itself. The inside of here is big and has murals carved into it, and banners are flying. Banners made of spun cloth and silks from underground animals.
Is there any...
What's the level of illumination like?
None.
The champion would like to know if he should engage his luminous systems in order to alleviate the ever-present darkness.
We're not going to come in quietly, so go ahead. Besides, I really want to look at that mural.
We're currently riding inside Algorithm currently. Yes?
Yes, so what you see is screens projecting what he sees through his eyes.
Oh, this is like a horror movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say if that's the case, Mirage is going to go. Well, unless you can see better than these screens are projecting, that's probably a good idea.
So after a long and entirely pointless luminar prayer, or before making light, because they require that.
Don't infringe on that union.
Oh no, they do the souls thing too. They will fuck you up in the next life.
They'll scalp you.
Activate Body of Burning Light.
Wow. Okay, this tunnel is super illuminated now. You can see everything in here. This whole place is like one large art project with the way it's carved and filigreed. Actually filigreed. It looks like pyrite and various other kind of lesser metals have been used to give an illuminatory edge to the murals in here. So it kind of glitters like stars against a night sky.
Oh, it's beautiful. Walk gently, please. We need to preserve this.
I may actually recommend this to the public morale department.
If I knew cameras were a thing, I would be totally taking pictures.
Oh no, Algorithm's doing that.
Well,
committing to memory.
That shit would remind me a little of the loom.
It's noticeably warmer down here at the bottom. It's probably running about 30 degrees.
Celsius.
Wait, is that Celsius or Fahrenheit?
Celsius, real degrees.
Oh, for God's sake!
Like real temperature.
Right. Well, then give it in Kelvin, for God's sake.
I don't know anyone named Kelvin, only Kevin.
God damn it!
I can give it to you in Kleins.
303.
What about Rankine?
Kelvin Kleins. How many stones? How many gills to a liter?
Haha.
Are we really doing this?
30 degrees Celsius.
86 for
That's
those,
great.
those in the U.S. So California in the dead of winter.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, for underground, that's shockingly warm.
In Creation Underground, you mean?
Whatever.
It's really like California. They'll all be wearing sweaters.
It's warm down here. That was the breadth of it.
Yes.
And if you can detect where heat comes from with your predator vision, some of these murals show mountains that are detonating or show serpentine things breathing light on the ground, and they're giving off heat.
It's purposeful then.
This tunnel, this dome thing we're in, is this a city or is this just sort of some sort of big antechamber?
It's a large antechamber. You could probably hold 700 people in here.
That's a big one.
And there are, it looks like there are tunnels set into the wall, probably about 6 or 7 of them, just in different areas of this dome, that are fairly big. Again, large enough for Algorithm to actually walk through, large enough for a war strider.
Which at this point, Algorithm pretty much is.
Which denotes some sort of purpose.
Yes.
The tunnel doors are shut. It looks like they come from the walls themselves and seal inward like a sliding door. You can tell from how the mechanisms are built, and they all have this. They all have in the center of them an ornament. It looks like a triangular pyramid, but the tip of it is long and slender and points downward, and is kind of inset at an angle inside the wall. Those give off heat sources. Lower than the rest of the room, though.
I'm not familiar with that type of symbology.
I doubt I would be.
Anything I recognize?
Not really. They're very simple, basic shapes.
They kind of almost look like latches. We could just open the door.
That's what I was thinking. So Algorithm is going to try and turn one, since he doesn't have command the wheel, so he can't just make the doors open themselves.
All right, they're about the size of because it has that kind of long nose from the longer end of the triangle, so they're about the size of an average man's torso. But when you go and grab one, it moves and sinks back into the wall, and you see slits like gills open up on the side of them and give off a sort of phosphorescent light.
Thank goodness I don't actually need to breathe.
I'm glad we're inside of you right now.
All the other triangles do the same thing into the doors. And there's a clicking sound that sounds like basically metal against metal or shell against shell, and a screeching like hands being dragged across a emery board.
I think whatever you did is starting to work.
Now,
Or they are going to try and kill us.
Not mutually exclusive.
That door starts to open up slowly, as it's a large door, and as it does, things start crawling out. Lower to the ground, probably the size of, probably just about the size of a man with those large triangular heads, man-shaped body pattern, but with like 4 digits that are clawed on each hand, and their legs themselves and feet have hands on them. So they're, they have hands and feet that are hands, and they are crawling on the door as it opens and coming out from the ground to the ceiling, and they all have those triangle heads.
I assume you have a picture?
Oh, no, I couldn't find a good picture.
Hmm.
Sorry.
Oh dear.
How good a look did we get at the Tradeborn inside the egg?
It was human-shaped.
So it didn't look like this.
no.
They look kind of like this, but more triangle-y and less violent.
Less violent?
Yeah.
How many are there?
Oh, like 60 are coming out of this door.
Oh, it's like we're being swarmed.
Yeah, they're wearing ceramic-looking armor that has, like, it looks like armor. Like, it looks like armor that is artifact. And a lot of them carry on their forearms and in their hands essence cannons. Most of them carry large spears that have a glowing pommel at the end that gives off an energy spike.
They're obviously flanking us.
They're carrying essence weapons. God damn.
The champion would like to know if there are any known alchemical reagents in creation which react explosively with air.
Usually you need to. Well, actually, no, out of character fire doesn't, so. It's not technically explosive, it's just inflammatory.
Air is usually the element of cold. Normally they don't react.
They're chirping and calling at you in Old Realm.
Oh, they're talking. What are they saying?
Stand back, intruder. Put your arms down. Who are you to be part of our domain? Form out the
Algorithm
lines.
Algorithm repeats what he said earlier. Hallowed is the Maker. Hallowed are the chosen of the Maker. Hallowed is his coming. Hallowed is his going. Hallowed are his people.
Out of character, you just threw Dune in that, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
I agree. First we'll see how they react to that, and then I'll talk if they don't react to all that.
They have flanked you, and they're not advancing or trying to stab you. It's just algorithm, right? Like, you guys are inside him.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They can just focus fire him down then. Do 8,000 damage. From the door, you hear the lumbering sound of something large, and then something man-shaped, a little bit taller than a man, walks out among the throng of the 60 or so armed creatures. It's tall, slender, has 4 arms, and is wearing very ostentatious robes that conceal its face and a lot of its skin, but they have like those long kind of banners hanging off of it, and they have symbols of the old world and stitched into them. Stuff that you've seen in the Covenant of Primus, the Tome of the Great Maker. And it walks out towards you, and in Realm, like modern speech, calls out in a very dulcet tone, "Hallowed is the Maker. Hallowed is the coming of the Brass Lands."
Well, that turned out nicely.
Yes, it did.
Internal speakers, suggestions?
I say incidentally, if we had said something, would they have heard us?
No, you're inside him.
No, I'm asking
Oh.
him because my character does not know if he can repeat what we say to the exterior. So I'm asking that.
If you relocate to... the mouthpiece. If you speak to me, the champion can relate, or you could go to the audio production chamber and speak through his mouth.
Well, in any case, it doesn't seem to be immediately necessary. They seem quite receptive. I guess the additions must not vary that significantly.
Algorithm's going to get down on that, what's it called? That post, that sitting thing Japanese people do where they sit in on their legs and fold his hands, like sort of sitting down
Yeah.
on getting himself more on that being's level.
That thing that hurts the shit out of your knees.
Yes. Okay, so he says, I have come seeking in the people of the mountain called the Jadeborn. Are you them?
The four-armed creature, the sort of priest-looking one. We are the children of the Titans. We come from stone, and we are born in fire. Metal is in our bones, and industry is in our soul.
Query, is that in affirmative?
It kind of just looks at you.
During recent Autochthonian enclave of operations, a method was discovered to convert fair folk nobility into embryonic Jadeborn. We wish to discuss the ramifications with the people of the mountain.
It's hell an opening.
Make a what's the will save in this game?
Will
Spirit.
Save. Yeah, make a spirit save.
Yeah, I'm going to
Everyone
do poorly on that.
just Algorithm.
Algorithm.
We're trying to roll over,
Yes.
and do any of my facts help here?
No, he's probing your mind.
Hmm.
He's using his psyche charms.
Wait.
Oh yeah, that's a failure.
Oh,
Or, spend effort.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm asking the other players. Should I spend effort on this?
no.
Either you're gonna spend effort, or I'm gonna pull a fate gift to block it.
So you're going to block it no matter what I do?
Either way, it's getting blocked somehow.
Okay, go ahead.
I was gonna say, there's various things like strike the fares and the passive gift and fate that all indicate resistance to mind effects. So is there, including mind reading, is in there. So can I just fate miracle this to block it? Seems to fit in with a bunch of the different things fate already does.
Well, the problem is, do you know what's happening?
I tend to run the assumption that we as characters may not necessarily immediately know, but that we as players can take the right action appropriate to circumstance.
Like it might be an impulse or.
Yes.
Or like the lights are flickering.
Because otherwise the game doesn't work.
Yeah, no. You can be aware that he's being hit with spells. I thought Sam was asking if this thing was just trying to gauge an idea of what you guys are.
No, I was saying I was gonna use a fate miracle to block it because that seems to fit in with things that fate.
Yeah, this is mind affecting. It's probing.
So it works.
Sure.
Okay, fate miracle blocks it then. Oh, one question before we continue: have we passed a scene since we spoke to the villager?
Oh, definitely. Oh, yeah. That was like 2 scenes ago.
Okay.
Yeah, it puts up its...
and I've been blowing transmutation in all the time in the spend effort for a scene to make mundane stuff. So
Of course.
Yeah.
It puts up its hand and makes a mudra of some sort of hand sign, and you can feel essence crackle off of it, and it puts its hand down. You are not being piloted.
I am not. However, it is within the nature of my form to be receptive to organic internal interactions.
There is more to this conversation than meets the eye. I would rather speak plainly with the consorts you've brought with you.
So, can I read the signs, this guy?
Read the signs. Their past
Can he
is...
do it? Oh,
yeah,
can he do it? Can he do it from inside? You know.
Yeah, he's looking at a person. You just have to look at a dude. You can see that dude. He's right there.
Just need to look at his face.
His past is that he leads. He's one of the leaders of this mountain folk city. His future is he'll continue to do that until he expires. If they have a lifespan, I don't remember. He is one of the ruling caste. His ambitions is to expand their empire and fight back the war they endlessly fight. And a sentence on their most likely fate in the next year is really nothing changing.
Oh, so it's not to die at the hands of the three chosen that he came and agitated at. Okay, good.
And it's also not a renaissance caused by an influx of population.
Nope. But
that is his fate as per not interrupted by essence users.
yes.
He
may
as is the way with Exalted.
If we tried this again in 4 months, it might look different.
You could kill him now and it'll look different.
No, we would get a read error.
Algorithm's mouthpiece asks if you'd like him to open the door out.
I say, we may as well. He's the one who we're going to wish to speak to about matters anyway.
Agreed.
Yeah, he's already kneeling down. His stomach folds open. His knees are now ramped to get in.
Everyone kind of backs up and gives you guys some space.
I can only imagine we exit out a little bleary-eyed from all your shining.
Maybe.
Oh no! The internal lighting level is pretty high.
Oh, okay.
Everything on the inside is so good. They're like, oh man, everything's 30 frames per second. And Max is and Algorithm's like, the human eye cannot detect 60 frames per second.
Alright.
That is void tech.
The reality has a lower resolution than those cat monitors we're putting up there.
Alright.
So I will walk down the proverbial gangplank. It's more like a ramp.
Yes.
And I will say, greetings. I am Mirage of the ideal destination, chosen of the maidens.
And I am the Magister. ... I still haven't figured out a way to properly...
Chosen of arachnids.
Chosen of anti-fate? Chosen of
that which was not to be.
Sure.
Time Lord. I am the ethereal of this enclave. We are the children of Autochthon.
We come at behest of Heroism Advancing Algorithm, who desires to make contact with you.
It kind of twitches its head as it. You can kind of see the wheels turning as it's trying to translate that name into Old Realm, into Autochthonian, essentially.
Right.
Interesting. If you are associated with the Forge Father, come with us. Come into our city.
I'm I not personally, but sure. Is his thought process.
I'm out of character. I'm not, but I'm probably also aware that the Jadeborn technically required to give us passage.
I mean, he could take some limit and have you guys killed.
Well, he could take some limit and then watch as a lot of people die when we start blowing essence.
Oh no.
Oh no.
He's an essence user. He's a rough fight.
Yeah.
He has psyche charms.
This will go like Lothar. So many civilian casualties, but let's not do that because we're congenial.
Right?
Right.
The warrior casts start to kind of give you guys a berth and start to crawl back into the tunnel.
Algorithm's Colossus body is going to stand up and follow.
As you guys get closer and light floods into the tunnel, you see that inside the tunnel, ready and waiting, is a common war strider, decked out with a what's the term? A grim cleaver, with what looks like some sort of long cape striking behind it. It's made out of jade.
Oh, sure, a common war strider. Yes, we just see them striding around everywhere.
That's the term for the fuselage configuration. Dickhole.
Is it to human proportions or something inhuman?
Human proportions.
Interesting.
Yeah, it turns around in the tunnel and starts to walk away as the warriors swarm around it.
Along the way, Algorithm's going to give it a little bro nod.
How did you come to find Lutar?
The Maker granted his champions protocols of location. Upon the discovery of the Jadeborn embryo, we used its essence signature to detect the nearest concentration of your people.
Fascinating. Perhaps you could share with us a way to shield our city from this in the future.
I could certainly understand the desire for that.
What can be made the tools of the Maker can be used by other fellows for nefarious purposes.
It is theoretically possible. However, it would require a subsidiary instantiation of the design, which would require ministerial approval.
It doesn't have a response to that.
That's the point. Oh, no, use a fate.
Pardon?
Oh, you just need to be outside Fade, because the protocol works by in creation it works by asking the pattern spiders.
Dick move.
Using that backdoor of protocol Autochthon installed before he left.
Dick move.
To jump ahead of the line in front of all the other things the spiders have to do.
Oh my god.
God damn this.
And they don't bite me back.
They have to take it out on somebody else.
But yeah, so you just need to be somewhere that the pattern spiders wouldn't know. Good luck with that.
All I'm saying is that when crap randomly starts going wrong for you, besides yours will have nothing to do with it. This is just gonna be because you pissed off the pattern spiders.
He leads you to another lift that brings you down deeper. Yeah, just you and like your people and him. The warriors and the war strider basically go back to their waiting spots. A lot of them have sort of cubbies or burrows dug out into the wall that lets their heads stick out like ornamentation, and they just go into the wall and wait.
Do they live in there?
It is a place for the warrior caste to stay while they are on shift. When they have served Lutar well, they can exchange places with a brother.
I'm glad that our opening isn't to just flood the area with a bunch of vitriol.
Be a real dick move.
Not very congenial.
I love how the recurring theme in this is to discuss the various not congenial ways we could have approached the problem.
Well, it's how we get our impulses out, by thinking about them and not doing them.
The Magister will remember that. God damn it. The lift descends downward, and after a while, it's like its own cylindrical cage, and is shockingly enough big enough for the Warstrider frame, because, you know, they bring it up from the forges and the foundries they have. It gets to about 40 degrees Celsius as you head down. And then the elevator itself, once it gets past a certain area, opens up, and you're basically on a scaffold heading down into the middle of a large cavern complex that's lit up by forge light.
40C is pretty hot.
Yeah, 40 is you turn on the air conditioner because it sucks.
Yeah, and we just came from the northeast, so I'm acclimatized to furs and...
Yeah. It's so hot, milk would be a bad choice.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're basically naked on this elevator, and it's overlooking this underground cave complex. Like, if you were to walk off, you just fall for, like, 60, 70 meters.
Yeah, let's not do that.
And yeah, this is an underground city. It looks like they've carved out the mountain itself. So there's like cylinders of rough and hewn and worked stone that go from the ground to the ceiling that have apartments and living complexes in it. These pillars are everywhere and actually are connected together with platforms that have other buildings built on them. This is a whole city built on pillars with like suspended buildings in between. And at the bottom are large lakes of forges and crucibles for melting down metal, with like channels, ancient channels carved in and plated in them for them to make weaponry and tools and just things. You see a lot of those warriors milling about, but there's much more of a third type of these things, which are about the size of the warriors. They have the two arms just like the warriors do, but their heads look like they're actually connected. The triangle part is much smaller and blunter, and it looks like it's fused at the neck, so they have kind of like a like an ibis head almost. And yeah, they all have those phosphorescent eyes going down the beak. It looks like a man in a gas mask, essentially, or a man in a large like plague doctor mask.
The champion notes that this is very reminiscent of home. He finds it quite comfortable.
There are murals the length of these cavern walls that are just everywhere. And a lot of them depict the Great Maker in his encounter suit body, or the Great Maker as just an actual mortal man with a hammer and long scraggly hair and mitten hands. Some of them depict the Great Maker as a sphere covered in spikes and spines and weapons. Some depict the Great Maker as a rhinoceros that carries the world on his horn, and his like trunk is a smokestack.
I could spend an entire lifetime just looking at these murals.
And Algorithm has some of his staff frantically making, what are they called? Amber types, something like that.
Yeah, your internal body is lined with artists pumping out masterpiece after masterpiece. There's one.
Oh wait, I can make items. I literally have I can literally make like photocopies of what I'm seeing in frame by frame.
Oh yeah. There's one mural near what looks like their ruling area that shows the genesis of their people, and the way they depict themselves as are very lanky and thin men with triangular heads that are like perfectly pyramid proportioned, and that looks really familiar to you, Algorithm. You see it every time you look into one of your Soulsteel brothers' eyes or chest too deeply. You know, those images and faces tracing underneath the soul steel in their armor and in their bodies. Staring back at you, judging you, silently.
They made the first soul steel from.
What would a giant metal robot making a small whine sound like?
Did the mutant with the bees get out again?
Yeah, some servo sounds like it spun up really fast.
all the people inside of you are oblivious to it because no one has the courage or the strength to look a soul steal right in the face and get really close to their metal and their meat.
And most of them wouldn't even care because they hadn't had that conversation about where creation soul steel comes from.
Yeah.
Yeah, good times.
Yeah. You
Well,
would think the name would.
Algorithm is in a unique position to appreciate how horrible this is.
and they said in the HR that he was just being biased against soul steals.
We're gonna have to write you up. Yeah.
Well,
the lift.
he is not going to mention that.
The lift
At all.
stops, and you're brought to one of those floating municipal buildings. It's large, and it looks like there's just workers and some of the warriors moving to and fro, exchanging weapons and armor for other things. And yeah, everyone kind of just stops to look at you guys as you walk on through, because you're A, mortals, and B, a war strider.
Yeah.
Is the ambient lighting enough? I could have released a body of burning light.
Oh yeah, it's lit in
Okay.
here. It's lit as fuck.
Oh, you mean from all the molten metal, the ocean of molten metal down below?
Yeah. Also, they went to college, so they're pretty woke.
Out of character, they all have dark vision or low light vision anyway, so it's okay.
Oh, they can see in the dark. They actually have infrared.
I was making the jab at the D&D thing, but
Yeah.
Yes. I designed these guys kind of like xenomorphs crossed with the greys.
Nice.
Hmm.
Well, of any place to get the materials to produce your drone body, I think we chose correctly.
Yeah, the ethereal, as it calls itself, just kind of leads you into the center of the municipal area, and an honor guard of those warriors comes out in what looks like artifact armor, like straight up jade and moon silver armor. And there's a few more of those long, lanky, spindly-looking ones with them.
Man, I wish I had some better clothes.
That can be arranged.
Quick, into his Doctor Who wardrobe.
Did you say that out loud?
No.
Hallowed is Autochthon, they all say in their dulcety voice. Hallowed is the land of brass and shadow.
Hallowed is Autochthon. Hallowed is the work of his hands.
How can we... They kind of make like... They talk with their hands a lot. How can we assist you? What do you want from Lutar?
Okay, you two. You're the talky ones.
I'm looking at you. You're the one
I
that
was
wanted
gonna
to come
say,
here.
you're the one who said take.
Why are we even here?
What did we want to accomplish again? I don't know.
Okay, Algorithm gets down in that knee
wait.
killing pose, and people come out with pictures of the jade embryo thing they have up.
You
And
could have just brought one with you.
We could have, but we didn't.
Who would
so-
stop you, Phil? Not him.
let's say we have one, but it's inside, and we're not quite bringing that out yet.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna have you guys not have brought one if you wanted to, come here and talk with them, and you can carry it. Certainly, you're big enough.
You know that.
Yeah, but it might be
probably
some weird religious taboo where if someone else touches one, they have to kill us or something.
The mother will
Nope.
never take it back.
And there's even a very disturbing diorama of the process in action.
Let's not open with that one.
I say we wish to bring this to your attention, and indicating the various things that are brought down that show that either show the transformation results or whatnot.
You know much about our people's life cycle, it would seem. You have found one of our kind.
Statement
That
that is incorrect. We created it by the beneficence of the Maker.
They're starting to look over your notes. They're checking your paperwork.
Well, in the math, there's several places where "and then a miracle happened" is inputted.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. They understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. You got to account for God in this math.
Leave room for Jesus.
Yeah, and then Jesus. That's the little Jesus fish symbols in the math formula. So you took a warrior of chaos and converted him into one of our souls.
That is the inference we drew.
Well, this is very good. Normally, it takes us quite some time to find deposits of jade that have been ensouled with our people. We reincarnate upon death in them and are born anew. We have, of course, mined large deposits of this area quite thoroughly in the millennia since the Father of Death left us.
Did they just call him Father of Death?
It's one of his sobriquets.
Yep.
Yeah, I know, but it's a little weird that they're focusing on that one.
I mean,
Well.
he really kicked the shit out of all the people they didn't like.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, stop
Heaven
focusing.
Dragon, eat your heart out. Upon proving unable to extract the embryonic Jadeborn, we resolved to seek out your people in order to open relations and exchange the embryos.
Yes, that would be an excellent overture between us. We require more information about who you people are.
Well, time for the Visitor's Edition of the Tome of the Great Maker to
To
walk
brought out.
itself out on spider legs.
One of the ethereals motions to a few of the warriors, and they leave and come back. And on a bed of pearls and coral that only grows underground, in a crystalline pond of still water, is a similar tome.
Jesus.
Mirage tries not to get a little bit offended that algorithm immediately proceeded to the intermediate edition instead of going to the picture book first.
Their tome is carved from smoothed opalescent paper and metalwork from various coral creatures down here.
Well, they still worship Autochthon, so they are obviously more spiritually advanced.
Out of character. Your mother.
Can't people just go like, "Hey, hi, I'm the Magister. How you doing?" No. It's the exchanging of books.
Yeah, they're exchanging religion. You know who else is more spiritually advanced than the Mirage? My mom.
Your mother's more spiritually.
It's a regular show joke,
Yeah, I know.
which we got into. And
Magister,
shockingly
you want to either if you want to suck all the information out of it first, just before Algorithm has his staff start looking over it.
Well, it was presented to you, not us.
They presented
so...
it to you, plural.
All right.
You, open bracket, S, close bracket.
I don't know if I ever learned Old Realm is the problem. No, wait, I taught that people that Old Realm, so I actually have to know Old Realm.
You probably know Old Realm. Old Realm is fairly common in the realm, I believe.
Okay.
Among scholars, yeah, that's not uncommon.
Also, isn't there realm and high realm?
Yes.
There's Low Realm, Realm, and High Realm.
Yeah.
And then there's Dragon Tongue in
There is Dragon Tongue, the
Three.
tongue of shogunates.
And then there is.
No, it was a Memnon's Esperanto project.
Yeah, but she actually divined that from the language that was used in the shogunate era.
Yeah.
She
And
resurrected
then there's
it.
High Holy Speech that is also called Dragon Tongue that was invented by the Dragon Kings for their slaves.
Yes, they are. High Holy
There's
Speech
an
is also a
awful
thing.
lot of dragons and an awful lot of.
And there's
tongues.
Old Realm, the language of the gods.
And then there's Ireta N, which no one speaks.
I don't even know what that is.
These people. The triangle heads in lore.
Huh.
Like literally, that is a word that was made up for them because no one can actually read their language anymore.
That seems dumb. They speak
There-
Autochthonian.
I was gonna say there is some. We're in a world of Exalted. There is some Exalts somewhere that can read their language.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking memorials
they-
can.
That they can.
They're
That they can.
nerds. This is their whole thing. Oh, you have a dead language? That's cute, honey.
Yeah.
It never truly died.
Then they put a
Nothing
cigarette
dies.
out on your face.
When did my pet project become so sinister?
Chosen of Secrets can read those languages too, but they're sinister by default. So
Ah,
Well,
yeah,
I mean-
Chosen of Secrets knows that language. Get over here, nerd. We're gonna beat you up for your dead language lunch money. There's just a bunch of memorials curb stomping at Chosen of Secrets
Oh no!
Rifling
Bye,
through her
Lisa.
pockets for
for
rifling
change
through
and
pockets for-
artifacts.
and spare vocabulary.
Yeah. Don't come to this side of the library anymore, nerd.
Okay, so either of you want to suck the knowledge out before the translators get on it?
Well, I
No,
will
we don't
attempt.
need to mind rip or probe everything.
No, I will.
It's
I
a
will
knowledge gift.
observe while they do it, so to glean as much as I can.
You guys do a book exchange.
Yes.
Before the Maker left, he granted our people his covenant to teach us how to survive without him. It was a secret
Ye-
distributed to the home capital of Uvar.
Many are the gifts of the Maker. Faith, dogma, and tools foremost.
Hallowed is Autochthon.
Hallowed is Autochthon.
And they just kind of look to you two, Magister and Mirage.
I think you need to say it too.
No. They just want to know about you. They just want to know who you are.
Oh,
Oh, these are different people. The one who I introduced myself to is not here. Right.
right.
Though, to be fair, that would actually be a pretty reasonable assumption. They're just saying they're staring at us after everyone just said the prayer. What?
They just want to know who you are. You're gonna be like, Magister's gonna be like, I'm a vodka by morning, Southern Comfort by afternoon kind of guy. Mirage just like, take that and double it, and you got me.
No, seriously.
I wouldn't say those exact words because then algorithm would be tempted to send out people with real drinks.
Yes.
Exactly. We've already learned how that went with the Magister's cultists. They no longer have esophagi or stomachs.
Oh. Well, some of them didn't have them to begin with.
That is also true.
It's just more efficient if it goes straight to the liver.
That was agreed upon. Mirage introduces himself as Mirage, the ideal destination, chosen of the maidens.
And the Magister will introduce himself as the Magister, a chosen.
You are exalted,
Yes.
Yes.
and you have brought us gifts of knowledge and hope. A sort of promise of the Great Maker and his gaze returning to this land, this unworthy domicile that we protect from below up. But what do you two have? What is your stake in this exchange of culture? We do not see surface dwellers. Very often it is an auspicious occasion.
There are always agendas that we have. For the moment, we are assisting a friend.
And I say, in addition, the work of algorithm here had great potential benefits to your people, and we didn't see any reason to do anything other than speed his travels.
We find that the Exalted often have agendas, personal or otherwise, that catapult them on unexplainable and unexpected destinations. What powers your journey here?
I say, this is not particular to an agenda of mine. While I have concerns, they are they are partially separated, though all things are connected.
Resources are always a necessary thing. Trade, connections, they are always good to have.
Well, we can appreciate that. Perhaps if you do not know the reason you have been brought here, it'll become more apparent to you as we explore each other's friendship together.
If I might interrupt, what is your surplus production like?
They'll kind of look at you, look amongst themselves. We have stockpiles that are rapidly being depleted by our work, warring against the various undercreatures that plague this land. We also have small amounts of tribute we pay to various spirits and otherworldly creatures to make sure that our empire continues unmolested by the ravages of the environment.
Would you categorize your industry as fully employed?
No, but for the fact that our industry itself is bereft of many of the things that would allow us to reach our full potential. We have long since mined many of the jade deposits that provide us with more citizens, and are running more extensive tunnel networks to locate other veins. Our population is low. We have suffered some catastrophes in the last century or so.
I say, it is quite possible that algorithms and the Great Maker's miracles that brought you a nascent member of your people could be replicated.
That is possible, but from our notes it says here that you would have to strike down a champion of chaos, and those are, while innumerable, most vengeful and most companion-lated. I would fear for the safety of you three solitary exalts.
Actually, we had greater difficulty not killing them at the enclave from Autochthonia.
Then perhaps there's agreement that can be reached between our peoples. We have one problem that has been plaguing us for the last century, one specific thing that keeps us from achieving the apex that our civilization should have reached, and it is our tunnels. We upkeep connections across creation. In the before time, in the long ago, before the fall, these tunnels would allow one to travel from the Blessed Isle to the very edge of any of the four directions. Quickly, within less than a week's time, in large numbers. Since the fall, these tunnels have fallen to disuse, flooded, been destroyed, or been overrun by creatures. And there is one that used to connect us to our sister city of Dijak. Dijak holds the bulk of our race's population. There are over... he kind of just looks at you guys. There are... Our numbers are in the million in Dijak.
The tunnel has collapsed, or just been rendered unusable by other incursion.
We're not sure of the extent of the damage, as the collapses we've cleared out eventually stop us from proceeding any further. The distance between Dijak and Lutar, that reaches about the halfway point. There is a calamity that befalls any who try to traverse further, and there's further obstructions we've been able to detect ahead, but we can't clear them out or traverse through the calamity.
have you contact with the Jacques in order to identify the cleared distance on their end?
No, we have been silent ever since.
How long did you say?
Over a century.
Yeah. Algorithm staff is going to start hauling out the eggs. Eggs as a goodwill gesture. And one of them is going to have a map of creation as best he's been able to piece it together. If you would indicate the location, we will begin preliminary investigations when time and resources afford.
Of course. Thank you.
How strong is this? Are the supports on this building we're sitting on?
Strong. Shockingly so.
Oh, good. And since Algorithm is now going to have people start hauling out massive quantities of magical material.
Oh my god, where'd these all come from?
Transmutation.
Can't transmute magical materials.
I thought we said we can, but it's commit effort for the day.
Oh wait, is it?
Yes.
Well, let me take a look. So, the Ethereal is appreciative of all the stuff you're doing for them, and just coming here and bringing them a fetal, one of their people that they're going to process. And he looks to Magister, or the Mirage, I mean, and, well, we do have a way to show our gratitude. Would you come with us?
Certainly.
They go up a few levels to one of their armories, and they bring you in. And they open the room, and it's the room itself is decked out in very large weapons that are scaled for much bigger than human hands. And in the center, on a throne made of stone with a large emerald green cloak wrapped around it, is a scout frame war strider made of jade and very nimble and thin-looking. This was commissioned for us to build a few centuries ago, and its master never came for it, long since dead. It is called Fleet of Heart.
I circle it once and I compliment and I say, it's an extraordinary work. Is this, you wish me to take this?
Yes, you may take it.
This would be an honor. May I know the name of the one who once commissioned it?
Wrath like Seafoam, a child of the dragons.
What color jade?
Green jade.
Great. Make a note of that. Goes with the cape.
Yeah. There's a shogunate mons on it for an old dragon-blooded house.
Note to self: don't pilot this near look shy. I guess I will climb up to it. And
There's a hearthstone socket in its helm where the brow meets the visor.
And I assume there would be nothing preventing me from taking the hearthstone from my manse and clicking it in?
Yeah, you just socket it in. The helmet kind of lifts up a bit and slides back along the spine, and the chest cavity unfolds into the fuselage, which has arm and leg holes and like a harness inside you'd have to strap yourself into, and then you see out the an opening in the helm.
Okay.
So it's the Escaflowne.
Yeah, War Strider fuselages are all analog. Like, they all have, like, tendons and tethers and pulley systems in them.
So now I'm actually going to have to track down the anime Escaflowne, and I'm also...
Oh man, that's like required viewing for Exalted.
I know,
It really encapsulates most of the aesthetic.
Oh, I know. It's just I can't find anywhere where I can view it in a legally acceptable manner at anything less than an absurd price. So.
Oh, I just
it's
torrented
that
it.
first it's that first limit that gets in your way.
Yeah, I just
Yes.
torrented it. Psh, done.
Go to, I think it's either Kiss Cartoons or Kiss Anime.
Wait.
They have the whole-
I don't think you should do that on the podcast.
Yeah, whatever. Who cares?
And the other thing I need to do now is actually learn how God Striders or Does it Godwalker's rules work?
Yeah, it's all good. You'll figure that out later.
All right. I assume that you've probably written a stat block for it.
Nope, I just made it up on the fly.
Oh.
Okay, we'll talk about that later then.
Exactly.
This is awesome.
Ooh. War Strider pilots.
Yeah. One of the ethereals kind of points to Magister, and are you learned in sorcery?
No, I am not.
They all kind of look at each other. Oh.
Oh.
Come with us anyway.
Are they splitting us up to like? Okay.
Murder you!
I know.
Die!
Okay.
Spies and thieves!
Get down the paranoia level just a little bit. We'll follow them.
There is the stump of one of those columns that, supports this entire cave. And it looks like it was blasted in some calamitous event, and it's scorched. And it's still, fairly big and like 10 stories. And they bring you inside of it, and the interior of the walls are carved with old realm glyphs and essence manipulated runes. And they're like, this is our hall of sorcery, where we learn the terrestrial secrets. You can take any knowledge you wish from here.
Oh.
I would say mean all the knowledge, because you have the word.
Well, I do have the word knowledge, but I'm assuming that sorcery itself is not.
Yeah,
No, but
they
you-
assumed you'd have sorcery.
Yeah.
But you could probably use a miracle to, like, memorize every word in every book of sorcery and just peruse it mentally to teach yourself later.
It doesn't really work that way. These things are not quite physical. You need to be here to soak them.
Yes.
Hmm.
I know a sorcerer. I may have to come back for this.
We could teach you sorcery.
Oh. Thank you. I do not know what to say.
We could teach you the way Autochthon taught us.
That somewhat sounded sinister.
You guys always think these guys sound sinister just because they look like creepy aliens that are going to steal your soul and children.
Out of character, I think he just offered to teach you protocols.
No, he offered to teach sorcery.
Oh, okay.
They know sorcery.
Yes, but he did offer to teach you the way the Great Maker taught them, and the closest analog you have to learning sorcery involves Mind Ripper probes.
Yeah.
No, it's just the Great Maker left them knowledge and shit. You fucking people. You're so fucking paranoid.
He really loves the Mind Ripper probe thing.
Well, I mean, I have to hang out with algorithm all the time. All right. That I would be honored. I would have to prepare myself.
Of course. Out of character. If you want to take the sorcery word, these guys can help you out with sorcery.
Oh, I know. I have to think it through, though.
You should do it.
Death
should
of obsidian
always-
butterflies.
We'll
I
trade
would-
spells and stuff. It'll be cool.
I would have to look at like spells that I would want.
Cloud kill. Take cloud kill.
Well, I don't
Kill is good.
know why, but I always skipped over sorcery. I don't know why.
That's silly.
Silcery.
It always seemed covered by you guys.
Silcery and necromancy.
Nico.
Neko?
Get it?
Powered by wafers.
Oh,
Yeah.
All right, that's their gift to you. Access to their sorcery that you don't know.
this was a little backwards.
No, it isn't. It's completely forwards.
Wait,
You're
remember,
backwards.
they have Chaos Seers who might have predicted that this was going to happen.
Well,
and they know it when you
it's
see it.
funny that you mentioned that, because I was about to get to Algorithm's gift.
Yes.
Come with us, champion.
It's a creative soul steal.
I got a Vrock. Like a demon from D&D. They lead your ponderous form to another part of the caves. A deeper part where the ethereals live. And like where they go to pray and conduct creepy rituals.
What other kind are there?
Yeah, there's a wall that opens up and a lift that takes you down. And in one of these caves, there are large, almost like bivalves and undersea creatures. The cave is kind of made to look like the inside of a coral, like an undersea coral creature. And there's just runes and patterns and tablets kind of carved everywhere. And they bring you to a specific part of the wall that they have covered in shrouds. And they just bring up a hook and start to drag it across. And there's a picture of a giant man in gold in the city that you're in with two prophets. One of them has the symbol for... one of them has a spider. Like his torso is a spider looking up and it's covered in lines. And the other one's a spider looking down, covered in frayed threads. And there's the gold man has like a mons carved into his chest piece. The kind of mons you see in Autochthonia that denotes a city center.
The odds of this being coincidental are vanishingly low.
Do you know what the mons says, champion?
It is the symbol for the word polis.
Yes, but there's a name written into it that we found.
And algorithm leans closer.
Hadal, the city of light and hope.
It is the custom of the champions of Autochthon, upon the completion of our evolution into civic centers, to abbreviate our designations to create the new municipal designation. My designation, Heroism Advancing Algorithm, has been
They start to draw your name out into the rock with like their carving tools, but they're using mountain folk numerology for it. Continue talking.
Has been pre-selected for abbreviation into the form Hadal. It is the name of the city I will become.
They all kind of nod, and as they finish carving, the way mountain folk numerology works with your name is it defines destiny based on who you are. And with the Hadalmons and this written on the outside, it actually points to a kind of it actually creates its own kind of tapestry, and the tapestry tells the story of a city born from brass and shadow that becomes a beacon of light and hope in a world without a ceiling. It also has a dual meaning of first.
Can you teach me this numerology?
No.
Can you explain the origin of this mural?
We learned this from the Great Maker. If the Great Maker had this to share to you, whatever you would be able to learn would supersede what we know.
Is there anything else which relates to me or to your people in the future?
None we've been able to find.
To find? You do not produce them?
These tunnels were carved by previous citizens over generations. A sweeping disaster flooded our lands and our people and wiped out our populations. We are the remnants of them. There is much here undocumented, and we are not like the sun lizards. We do not come back with perfect memories of who we were in the before.
Out of character, that numerology thing, was that some sort of... They were using in one of their low magic tradition, right?
Oh yeah, whatever you have access to would be better. Like telling the future and shit and prophecy.
Well,
there is a place in creation, champion. Here in this direction, there's a place where the sun lizards lived. And in that place, they had a thing half made by the Titans, half made by the champions. and it can call these visions down and make these predictions, and it works almost in opposition of the loom that sits in the Celestial City.
Do you have a better fix on the location of this device?
It comes from the first city.
No, I'm asking them to put it on my map. And put
They
various.
can give you a general location.
Hmm.
It is said
Which
to be
happens.
it is said to be the first city, the one that was, well, first.
I assume Rothus.
Yeah, Rathus. It's talking about Rathus.
Well, that's about where those Yugashi bastards were coming from. We're going to have to do something about that.
In the future.
They can't have nice things.
My God.
I thank you for this gift of knowledge. It has given me a great deal to ponder. And a new insight into the ineffable design of the Maker.
No fate but that which the Maker designs for us.
Then as the living avatar of the Maker, I state with total certainty that the fate he has ordained for you will soon improve from its current state.
Hallowed is Autochthon.
Hallowed is Autochthon. Yeah, he's a tad creeped out because this is very specific.
Right? Even down to the Spider-Men you hang out with.
Yes.
Yep.
Probabilistics isn't quite that good. It's more like psychohistory.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have to upset Mirage further about this.
Oh boy. I'm not even aware of what's going on. I'm busy looking at my War Strider.
Mm-hmm. Social protocol question. Would asking for essentially 3 celestial shards be a faux pas here? Like, do they really need them?
We could probably trade for them.
Like, I originally was going to give you just shards as your gift, but I thought this was cooler. But, you know, if you just,
It
you
is.
just want that too, you know.
Um,
You can guilt trip them out of me.
We can trade for them. I'm sure there's something we can do for them.
It's kind of like getting a really thoughtful, detailed Christmas present.
Oh my God, Clone High covered this.
No, I really just wanted money.
Clone High covered this. You got me a Nork? I bought it at a sharper image. You got it out of a dumpster.
well, drat, now we have to do something to earn those shards. Oh, and make up for the terrible revelation they've given us.
The future's coming.
Yeah, this is the farthest one, yeah?
Oh, it's not the farthest one they have. They have other tablets and stuff. It's just, it's really hard to gain an idea of what they mean before it happens.
Still, going to take a recording of all of them.
Sure.
And then they can keep Mirage up at night.
No fate, bitch.
Once you've looked into the loom of fate, either you never sleep again or you rest easy.
Or you become the master.
You hear the sound of drums.
Right? That's totally a get to me or a rogue serial.
It's definitely Ronin Sodierial.
Yeah. That'd be a great game.
Yeah.
But yes, the future that is Hadal is written on the walls here in creation. Just millennia before your nation even existed.
While we're at it, I'd like to know any historical events that are depicted here, and any context they have about them.
Nah, man,
And
this place is contextless.
No, but has any of this stuff happened to them?
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, I want to know what these circumstances were around the ones that have already happened.
Plague happened.
Because-
the Great Contagion.
Because
Oh, continue.
Both
sorry.
probabilistics and, from what I gather, Mirage's is predictions both get screwed up if too much essence is involved. But if they can be this specific, I'm wondering how much essence screw-up was involved with the other ones. I'm trying to compare the accuracy to the methods we already have.
Great Contagion, which wiped out the entire world and was full of heroes and fair folk destroying everything and fighting back against the night. That's on there. The Usurpation's on there, but the depiction of it is fairly arcane until after it happens. The Great Contagion, or the Usurpation one, is basically the Last Supper. And they're like, oh, now we get it.
Yeah.
That's why the window in the background of The Last Summer has all the buildings drawn upside down in the reflection. And that's why that Dragonblooded in the depiction has a shirt that says, I'm going to kill these guys and betray them.
And but there are a lot of sidereals in the background there with drawn knives.
They have arrows pointed to the solar saying, and the arrows spell out, we're going to kill these guys forever and they're never coming back. And the mountain folk are like, it's a mystery.
So mysterious.
No, but all the words are in Esperanto.
Next panel shows all like these little glowing yellow lights in a little jade box. Inside the blood, they had it coming.
Oh my god, I love that shirt.
Jeez.
At the bottom of the ocean.
Or in the Sea of Stars, who can say? Anyway, yes, that is the revelation. They give all three of you a little gift.
Little.
Only one of them is directly usable. Like, you're like, we got gifts of knowledge and esotericism, and like Mirage is like jumping out of windows, punching into walls. Woo! Giant robot! Stealth is for assholes. Subtlety blows.
Mirage, everything you knew about the loom is wrong.
Sorry.
He's like firing missiles out of his gauntlets. Everything that has happened before and everything will happen again.
That's my line. So yes, next time Mirage gets in those, most of them are going to be there for him to peruse. You know, just for like, well, how did they get that accurate? Because presumably this wasn't into Autochthon using in his Titanic predictions. This is like some gift he gave them to tap into.
Yeah, they don't
That's
even know
really...
where most of these came from. Like, their legends tell that the previous ethereals made this, but those legends are pretty shaky.
But I have marked the maker, so I know for certain.
Oh, they were carved, but you have no idea like who directed the carvings.
But and it says in Mark the Maker, it gets a flash of who originally created it.
Yeah, so you see the artisans and the crafters and the carvers, but how the images were like directed from. Like, Mark the Maker is very useful if the person who had the insane vision also did the insane carving. And in many cases it is, but in some cases it's not.
A brief vision of each person who substantially helped in its creation,
Okay.
and a short description of what they contributed to it.
Okay, well, no, never mind then. Yeah, that helps a lot.
Yeah. Kevin Crawford thought of that.
Well, that's perfect.
So where did they come from?
Very previous, what's the word, ethereals made these, but they were much different. They were a different type of race.
Huh.
Out of character, this is hinting towards how the mountain folk used to be a different race before the Unconquered Sun demanded the Autochthon change them.
Mm-hmm.
Back when they were Randian super people.
Oh, jeez.
Who were apparently very stupid because they tried to control Autochthon.
No, not those guys. Those were different people.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's different peoples all over the place.
But those were the ones who were in the Soul Steel.
Those were the prototypes. He came back and did a version 2.
I'll never say he just leaves projects abandoned.
Yeah, he came back to it after he was done being super pissed off. Absolutely livid.
Torture their souls forever pissed off.
There was a thing where someone was interviewing Jesus, and he's like, "What do you say about this stuff?" And he's like, "Who wants hugs? Oh, what about people doing this in the name of your religion? I prefer snuggles." And someone's like, "What about unbaptized babies?" And his eyes go red. He goes, "Tortured forever."
Dear.
So yes, Raj will have a new disaster to report the next time he goes home.
Perfect.
Isn't that every day?
Raj can't
This
hear
is
it.
why
He's too
you-
busy fake fighting in his robot.
Hmm.
And I'm learning sorcery. Yeah.
Oh, so you are. Good for you.
I'm not
So-
worried about doing crazy stunts with it.
So let's go rip Cthulhu's face off in the tunnel.
Yep.
I think this is a good point to stop, actually, now that you guys have gotten ominous rewards.
Yes.
So, yeah, I think that we accomplished a bunch. We got back into the swing of things. Episode 1 of the new season. Things have changed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Mostly algorithms size.
And internal facilities.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have internal facilities before. Well, not the same way.
It's different. He has phantom zone projectors that makes extra space inside of him.
With very high ceilings.
Yes.
Unnecessarily high ceilings.
All right.
Just showing off how space there is high ceilings.
Eat it. Suck it. Architecture. All right. In that case, I've been Devin the GM.
And it's Gary.
This is Sam.
And the specs.
And this is sponsored by Nobody. Signing off.
I don't want to set the world on fire. I just want to start a flame in your heart.